Welcome back, everyone. Going into part 2 of episode 61 of Court of Swords. I almost just fucking died. That would have been my best character death. Best and
Eaten
worst.
by a magic bag.
Yeah.
There's ways to go on, D&D. I guess that's a pretty unique one.
Pretty
Have you done that before?
No, that would have been first death by bag for sure.
Death by bag. Yeah. I mean, I was saying that bag is dangerous. You can find some uses for it, but shit, that's a dangerous bag. So as the desert weather is kicking up, a decision needs to be made about whether to press on or whether to like hold up here and hope that the storm passes before it gets worse. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think you like come in on all of us discussing or saying our piece of this.
Yeah.
And I'm Ramus, do you have any spells that could perhaps help us make this call? Because I have none. I have no ideas.
Well, we could ask the gods, but they're often very cryptic.
What about that locate spell you used? Can you just have it locate the nearest person to us, or does it have to be a specific entity?
It has a limited range. I don't think judging by the distance I can see, there's nothing within that range that I could detect. Unless something's beneath the sand.
Well, what about the gods what were you saying? You can ask them.
Well, we could cast a powerful spell to speak to the gods, but it does require sacrifice, monetary, and they're often cryptic. The answer may not be what we want.
We asked the gods these 5 questions. You won't believe their answers.
How much does that? The reagents for the spell, you said it's quite costly.
Something worth at least 25 gold. Such a arbitrary number, but that's the number.
Yeah.
Well, we can do something like that. Otherwise, we're just going to be standing here, even if we are waiting. Are we like in the bottom of a sand dune, Adam? Like, what is our? If I spin around, are we on a flat plane? Do we have dunes around us? What are we?
Yeah, I mean the sand has a tendency to kind of roll in waves as it builds up and then sort of tumbles. The sand dunes form that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean you're within. I would say right now you're on the side of the crest of a dune, but you could be behind one. You can move around as you like. There's sand dunes all within a certain distance.
Well, even if we are going to stay here, we're going to want to move to the top of a dune at all times, just for safety reasons. But if you wish to ask the gods, I don't see what else we could. I don't have any other ideas at this point, except for the bag. But we already talked. Let's not.
Well, I would need something that means something to someone to sacrifice in order to speak to the heavens. Consider it your fee for the audacity of asking heaven directly.
Can we just give it gold? Can we just sacrifice gold?
I mean, that's very basic. It works better if it's something that means something to you.
I look at Kali. Do you have anything that means something to you you're willing to give up?
Not that's worth that much.
I turn around and go through my bag and pull out a statue of the Arcana that we picked up in Utrecht. This is worth a little more than 25, but we could use this, I suppose. If you give them more, do you get a better answer? How do the gods work that way?
That's a great debate that no one's ever been able to quite agree on. Some say the more you give, the more saved you become.
Does it have to be something they want?
This has to be something worth something to you that you're sacrificing to the gods.
So something that we don't want or that is dangerous or that tried to eat one of us would not count.
Probably not.
All right.
I'm holding the statue. I toss it over to Ramus.
All right.
I guess use that.
Well,
it's one
give me some time to prepare.
It is one of the arcana. Which arcana is it, Adam? Can we discern by looking at it? I just wrote down statue of an arcana worth 100 gold.
Oh, no, I don't think I determined. Let me take a look, and I will roll randomly. All right. Let's say it is the it's an arcana depicting it's a statue depicting the world. So it's a female figure holding two wands with a kind of halo above her head.
There you go. Let us know how it works.
All right. I begin casting the ritual divination.
Okay. All right.
As it takes time, right? It's not instant.
That takes 11 minutes to cast.
Okay. As it's happening, I turn to Kali and say, "Wasn't there something in the cards about sacrifice? Doesn't this fit the narrative you drew however long ago that was?"
Yes, actually there was. But I don't know. The cards and I are not on speaking terms as of now.
I turn to Berg. Berg, what are you doing at this exact point? Are you just staring as the sand hits you in the eye and you just don't blink?
Yeah, I think he's just staring at you guys pretty blankly,
But get out. Come over here. The sand is hitting you in the eye. Turn the other way. Not just gonna let you sit there uncomfortable.
So if you guide him,
Yeah, I go over and grab him by the shoulders and turn him so the sand is not hitting him straight in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the three of us turn and watch Ramus cast the spell.
Okay. All right. So what does this ritual look like? What does the divination ritual look like, Ramus?
So you set up a series of candles, 3 candles in a triangle. They're hard to keep lit in this wind, and then you put the object in the center, and then you coat the object in holy oils, and then as you're casting chants and prayers, then you light it a flame, and then after you finish the chants, the item disappears and crumbles, and you have a moment of contact with the gods. And you can just sense their presence. You get to ask one question to them.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And while we're doing the ritual, I think I tell everyone we get one question and we have to word it very specifically. What should we ask?
Berg, don't say anything. Just no talking for the next several minutes. I don't want it to be misinterpreted.
What do we ask?
What do we want to know right now?
It needs to be as direct as possible.
I know.
And technically, this is your sacrifice, Sully. So you may ask the question. I will be your middleman.
We need something that is constant. So, since you were looking at the stars, Sully.
Yes.
I would ask, which star do we follow to get to our destination?
The stars won't change. They are constant. We won't be able to see them at all times. I suppose that's good enough. Does that work for you, Ramus?
Sounds fine to me. It's your sacrifice.
What if the god is wanting us just to follow his star for his own purposes? They could go that route.
The gods sometimes have higher purposes than what we think. We may be sent somewhere that isn't where we want to go, but where they want us to go.
I think it would be beneficial to be as specific as possible. So I would work in...
Always wise.
...the star to follow in order to get to the source of the smoke that we saw?
I'll say Calimont in case someone saw smoke for some other reason. Believe I'm ready.
Okay. I will channel the spirits and you will ask the question to me, and through me the question will reach the heavens.
One more hold on before. What star do we follow? What's the rest?
That will lead us to the source of the smoke that we saw when we landed in the desert. This desert that we are currently in.
It's just like so exact.
Okay, so you want... All right, give me... You decide amongst yourselves and give me the final sentence. And
what
then
star do we follow that will lead us to the source of the smoke that Calimont saw when we first arrived in this desert? Is that good? I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay.
There's a wart on the frog on the bump on the log.
What star do we follow? To lead us to the source of the smoke that Calimont saw when we first arrived in the desert. What star do we follow? I'm trying to see if we should put like a time. What star do we follow at this very moment that will lead us
now keep in mind you can't really see the stars right now because the storm is like kicking up, right?
Okay, hold on. What star do we follow? What star in the turtle? What do you call the star, like the starscape, the astrology or and
Constellation?
Turtle nomenclature? Is that what I would to put in sense of turtles? Because I only know the turtle stars, not necessarily whatever the gods get to see them or interpret them as.
Yeah. I mean, like you're asking like in the turtle like astrological paradigm, like the way that turtles see, because the stars. Okay, so you're just looking for a name that'll be familiar, so they're not just like you hear a word in a language you've never heard. Okay.
Follow the horse. Fuck.
Yeah, right.
By the way, if anybody out there is watching this wondering why we're stressing over this, is because asking the gods a question is, in my like experience, is akin to asking a shitty genie for a wish.
Yes.
It's like, I want to live forever. You're a statue. You know, like.
Yeah. So, what star in the turtle astrological paradigm do we follow at this very moment that would lead us to the source of the smoke that Calimont saw when we first arrived in the desert?
That is the question.
That's what we're gonna ask.
Live.
You type it in.
Work live.
Entertainment.
Yeah. I turned to Ramus. Believe I'm ready. Also,
okay.
Calimont, please make sure Berg doesn't. I don't want. Put your hand over his mouth. I turned to Ramus. Begin the spell.
Okay.
Ask.
So you perform the ritual, and then Ramus, you become as a channel unto the divine oracles.
Yeah, I put my hand on his shoulder, I guess, and asked the question: what star in the turtle astrological paradigm do we follow at this very moment that will lead us to the source of the smoke that Calimont saw when we first arrived in this desert?
Okay. So Ramus, instead of being a channel for a particular word, or you're not suddenly inspired to say anything particularly, when you open your eyes, you see Calimont distracting Berg, so Berg doesn't interrupt. You see Salihafa looking at you expectantly, and despite the darkness and despite the wind and the sand, you can see glowing in the night sky one star brighter than the rest. You have no context for it constellationally because it's the only one that's glowing bright enough for you to see through the stars or through the sandstorm.
I see it. It's right there. It's glowing so bright. It's beautiful. Do you see the star right there?
I line up the tip of his finger to where it's at in the sky as if I'm standing.
I mean, you can't
him.
see anything. You just see like swirling sand.
I take the. Can I see anything in the sky? No, right?
No. The storm has picked up to a point now where you can't, like, you just see sand swirling around you, clouds of dust moving.
Okay, actually, I'll just take my quarterstaff and just mark a line from where his finger is pointing into the sand and just like stab. Well, mark a line and also just stab the quarterstaff into the sand.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, and Ramus, you continue to see that star brighter than the rest.
I have to follow it. I'm just being pulled towards it. Follow me. You must. We have to go towards it. I just feel drawn to it.
Well, we have our answer.
I can see it so bright and clear.
We have our answer, Kalimant. Let's go. Start to collect anything that was on the ground, and we start following Ramus. Or I do, at least.
Berg, come.
Berg comes.
Okay, so you head out, and and begin your journey out into the desert. Now, keeping heading in this direction, like Ramus, if you're the one leading the show, eventually it gets to the point where you can't see anything except this point of light. So it's more keeping the group together as Ramus pushes through. At some points, the sand is stinging your eyes, and so you have to try to blink away the sand and look up through this whirling sand, but you can still see it. There's this single point of light pulling you in that direction.
All right, I take out my rope and ask everybody to stop real quick. Stop. Let's before anyone wanders off, Berg. Let's tie a rope to each of our wrists so that we don't get lost and separated from each other.
Fair enough. I'll start tying it to my wrist. Go over to Berg and help him tie it on his arm.
Yeah, Berg's just like looking at you guys tying wrists.
I'm treating you like a 5-year-old. Like, give me your arm. Stop. Put this arm down and just give me that arm. Stop fidgeting. Yeah. What's the order? Ramus at the front, Kali behind that, me and Berg at the end, or something like that. Then me, then Berg.
Yeah. Ramus, me, you, Berg.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. I mean, are you taking any other what else are you doing? Because the sandstorm is picking up, and as the night progresses, it's cold wind, swirling sand. It's like getting you're getting covered in it. And essentially, after an hour or so, you pretty much just have to cover your eyes and your face and just get pulled along by Ramus's insistence. Is there anything else you're doing, or is this kind of a blind march through the desert?
Trying to see if there's.
Yeah, we got to make it through this. Pushing on.
Yeah, I think we just push on.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get Constitution saves from everybody.
All right. Still 10?
As you in the morning when you set out.
Is it still a DC 10?
Yeah, DC 10. Well, the sandstorm's picked up. Let's call it DC 12 now.
All right. Well, that's me and Kali getting that exhaustion.
6 and 1/2 dozen the other. Okay, so wow, y'all are rolling so bad on these checks. Okay, so Berg, you're back up to 2 levels of exhaustion.
Yay!
So Berg, who's the person directly in front of Berg? Who's the one that's like keeping Berg on the line?
That's me.
Okay, so Sully, Berg keeps like falling, like stumbling, falling to his knees. You're having to like stop and drag him, and then everybody stops, and then like help him stand.
Yeah.
And you continue through the night, and it doesn't give up. Like it goes from being the dark kind of indigo sky of sand swirling everywhere to a slightly lighter version of the same thing. You still can't see, but it's starting to heat up, and like day has come, but the weather is still terrible. Just this like scouring sandstorm.
Yeah.
It's not strong enough now that it's like pushing you over or anything, but it could get to that place.
Okay. What do we have any sense of how long we've been marching?
I mean, all night.
So it is starting to look like the sun's starting to come up.
Yes, yeah. Day is coming. Ramus, you can still see the star. You've got a firm direction on it, no problem.
Okay.
Even though the sky is getting, I mean, it's obviously unnatural because you were able to see it through the sandstorm. If you turn around and look back at Kalimot, you can't even see him. You just see the rope extending into nothing.
I try to like run forward a little bit, or at least catch up to Ramus, and then shout over the howling wind, like, Ramus, if you sleep, will you lose that star?
I feel the gods are with me on this one. They're guiding. They want us to go here. I've never had a sign so clear before.
I guess we keep going until we normally stop, whatever that would be.
Yeah, that's like that comes up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if the star just faded away right after you said that. I just feel like they're here with me on this one.
Want something. Yeah.
Yeah, it might. Ramus, should we stop?
If you're tired, then we can stop.
I'm not tired.
I know this is a rough journey.
Berg I kind of like tug on the rope as he's maybe stumbles.
Yeah, Berg like falls.
Yeah.
I mean, you could risk it. You could push on. There is a danger to that though.
Is exhaustion level 3 a thing?
Yeah, it can go up to level 5, but if it gets level 5, you die.
You die, right? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Basically, resting reduces it by 1 level. Force marching just means like you can keep going, but you'll get more exhaustion. It's the cold, right? It's just sapping your strength.
Yeah. I say we continue for a little while at least.
Very well.
I think we continue.
Okay, so you wanna push on?
For let's say 4 hours till mid-afternoon.
Okay.
If it's like 7 a.m. or 9 or 10 a.m., we'll go for 4 or 5 more hours. Yeah.
Okay. So you push on, and it gets hotter and hotter. So now it's heat and this sandblasting wind.
Yeah.
You're starting to, like, especially you, Sully, like you're finding all the joints of your shell and your arms and hands are getting like filled with coarse sand. Everyone else, your skin is like chapped and peeling, and the icy cold of the night is replaced by the creeping heat of the day as it gets on and on. I mean, you don't approach anything. The storm just gets worse. The weather continues to bear down on you. Some amount of hours has passed. It's hard to keep track exactly. But who's the person that's like, okay, this is like, who calls it? Who's like, we got to stop, or like calls attention to the fact.
Me, Adam. Berg articulates perfectly that, gentlemen, I've had enough, and I would love to stop for a resty doos. Exactly what he says.
A moment of your time, my friend.
It's definitely.
I mean, it could be. Berg. Like, you could just fall and start like making noise.
Then maybe that prompts it. Like Berg's like his walking and stumbling really has gotten so bad where it's just the frequency with which he actually falls down and someone has to help him back up has just become so great that it's like one of them, Kalimot, probably eventually just says
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I call a stop to it. Stop. We need to stop. We need to rest. No reason to push ourselves to death. We have a guide. We have a direction. I say we rest now before the sun gets to its hottest point.
So, Ramus, the heat is actually a lot more pleasant for you than the cold. Like, it's not bothering you at all. You don't feel like you're aware that there is heat, but it doesn't bug you. Like, you could just keep marching in the heat all day if you wanted to.
Are you sure it feels fine here? I almost feel nothing. Are you sure it's hot?
Ramus, I assume you can't see this, but we're literally dying back here.
I feel great.
Well,
yeah, I mean the sand and the wind still suck, but the heat isn't bad. Like you're aware of it, but it doesn't bother you. It's like how if you're strong, lifting a heavy weight is easier than it's like your heat, whatever is used to heat for you is just you're fine. Everybody else though, it's you're sweating and it's brutal.
I agree with Kalimat Ramus. We should rest. Just I hope you don't lose that star.
Very well. I think we'll be fine.
All right, I'm gonna get the hut set up. I'd walk over to a. Can I tell if would I know if it would be better to build the hut at the top of a dune rather than at the bottom of a dune? It would be at the top, right?
Yeah, because if you built it at the bottom,
all the
then
sand would cover it.
Will just grow around you. At the top, you just it'll push up on one side, and you should be able to slip out the other side.
Yeah. Okay, that's what we do. Yeah. And I'll put the door opposite of where the sand is blowing. So if the sand's hitting us from this side, then I'm gonna put the door on this side so it piles up on the other side. Okay.
All right. So you create the hut. Everyone rests. Berg, you increase in intelligence. Your intelligence 5 now, I think.
Is it 5?
So it's 4. It was 4 yesterday. It's 5 today, right?
Okay.
Which means you're capable. You're approaching normal intelligence. You can kind of like form short sentences. You can understand most of what people are saying if they speak slowly. But you may not be able to communicate very well yet. And you all rest. Everybody make a con save to see if you get another level of exhaustion.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Berg, those are bad rolls.
Jesus.
I'm feeling inspired by the gods.
Yeah, seriously, Ramus is fine. Oof.
Well, we cleared an exhaustion, right? So we just basically.
Yes, you cleared one yesterday.
Okay.
You gained one now. So I think that means Berg is at
3.
Berg, are you at 2 or 3? You're at 3 now. Yeah. So Berg is at 3. Kalimat and Sully, you stay at 1.
Yeah.
Ramus, you go down to 0. Okay. So now you are you're at level 3 exhaustion, which let's see. Yeah, Berg is just like coming apart. Disadvantage on all attack rolls and saving throws, and it's level 6 exhaustion that kills you. So Berg is literally half dead from this journey across the desert. He's not doing very good. The storm has. Let me see if it's abated at all or gotten worse. Oh shit! Okay, the storm has gotten worse. So now it's like when you wake up. I guess whoever's last on alert, like it's been dark the whole time because the sand is so strong, the wind is so strong that you can't see outside at all. Like you couldn't tell one direction from another. The sand is all piled up on one side of the hut, and then on the other side, it's just a howling, swirling mess. Ramus, when you wake up for your watch, through all of that, like a single pinpoint of light through the fog, you can see the star. You can still see it through this terrible storm.
I think I spent most of the night staring at it and praying and just reflecting on it the whole night.
Yeah. Question about the exhaustion. Do I clear one while also taking one while we're resting? How does that work? Because if that's it, then I would be at 2. I would just stay at 2.
So every day of travel potentially inflicts 1. Every long rest, you heal 1. So if you are at 2, the rest cures it, and then you cure 1, and then you gained another 1, because we make the roll at the beginning of the day. So if you had 2 before, you went down to 1, and then you went back up to 2.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 2. It's not 3.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
But also double 1. So that was fun.
Terrible.
The rolls in general tonight are just fucking ass.
Yeah,
it's great we're not like, you know, fighting for our lives. Although we are, just
it's good that you're not like, it's not about a stabbing situation anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think as the hut's getting ready to disappear, I walk over to Ramus and probably see him just like staring at the fucking wall for no reason. Can you still see it? The star.
Can you not? It's so beautiful. It's just there.
And I look out maybe one of the windows, as it were, that kind of looks outside. I don't think we should walk today.
Can I tell you something, Sally?
No. Yes, please.
There were times that my faith was kind of challenged and wasn't sure. But now, like, I believe again. I was hesitant, but I see so clearly. There must be the heavens above.
Well, this is the basis of religion, is it not? You believe, then you don't believe when the gods don't show you the way, and now that you've spoken, you're right back in line.
Yeah. I just feel hope. Something I haven't felt in a very long time. It's been a very dark, dark road. I finally see the light at the end. Or at least a light.
Berg's like tapping his water, like like his water skin. Like you're boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I turn to that's good, Ramus. It's good to be hopeful sometimes. I walk away and get over to Kalimat. And
Are you hearing what he's saying?
Did you give him any of your, you know?
He sounds a little. I don't know. Is there a thing called desert madness? He seems very hopeful, which is very not like him.
Yes, I am quite worried. Not so much, actually, but it is something.
Maybe that spell touched him in some way.
Maybe so.
We'll keep an eye on him. If he says anything else crazy, let's make sure we keep each other informed.
As always.
Okay.
What do you think about not going out there today? It's gotten worse. I can keep this up all day. Well, another 8 hours and simply cast it again.
Well, I think we could all do with the rest. We've been marching so hard and for so long that I think a day just to lay about and let the aching of our muscles subside some. I think that would be beneficial to everyone. Berg.
Still tired. No much.
I think Berg wants to march some more.
No. Berg, no march today.
It's good he's returning. Ramus, how do you feel about staying inside for the rest of the day?
What do you mean?
Not going out there and taking a day off, as it were.
How will we stay inside? There's nowhere to stay inside of.
Right when you say that, does the tent just disappear? And I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah, totally. He's like, there's nowhere to stay. Bloop, and then like howling winds just ripping around you, cloaks flapping. Yeah.
I can cast it again, Ramus. That's what I mean. We don't have to go outside. Just we could return back in. And are you okay with that?
The gods are testing us. This is a test. We're being punished for what we've done. We must push through the desert.
Berg throws his water skin at Ramus.
He might fight.
Don't you forget where that water came from.
Berg doesn't say anything back.
Okay.
Yeah, Berg's just staring him down. Like face is just like, no, I don't want to march. Damn it.
How about this? A compromise. We'll do a half day. The gods will get their acolytes following the star and whatnot, and we'll get some rest.
Fine, fine. Non-believers.
Very well. And I start getting the rope and go over to Berg and tie it on Berg. And
Okay.
yeah, we're roping up and marching for a little while. Half day.
Okay. All right. And
Berg is extra cranky as you tie the rope and do that.
Berg, it's only a half day.
You're like,
It's good. But you'll get more water than normal tonight.
March. Bad.
It'll be fine. We're almost there. And I turn around and I don't know if that's true.
We're almost there. Yeah, right.
You did
the
the
immediate look is
parental lie.
Yeah, it's to Ramus.
An hour ago.
Yeah.
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 It's the fucking Spaceballs like, no good. You said that 2 dunes ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, so you head out again.
Everybody again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're all
and
roped up.
this is the worst. This is the worst day, like by far. It's terrible. The sand is in your eyes. You're essentially just spending every moment of the night shivering and feeling the sand just shear away at your flesh, and trying to follow not the person in front of you, but the rope. That's all you have. Your entire universe is 5 feet of rope in front and 5 feet of rope in the back, and then just like irritation and pain the whole rest of the time.
Yeah.
And I think you march, and Ramus, you pull everyone along behind you, following the star, and it seems to you like the star is getting like bigger or closer. Like the light seems brighter, and it's like moving. It's not a distant speck on the horizon. It's slowly like making its way kind of above you. And I think, can I get perception checks from everybody as you do this?
Do I get bonus? Like,
me.
Yeah, you always have perception. You always have advantage on yours. Okay, because of the glasses.
You know, as long as there's one of us that's doing good, it's fine.
I'm sensing everything.
So Ramus, you notice, probably because of your sensitivity to the light, you see at first what looks like rock or something. You notice one of them off to the side, and maybe your brain doesn't really register it. Maybe you're like, huh, like a rock in the desert, whatever, fine. And then you notice a sort of angular shape of stone that couldn't possibly be a rock, right? It looks like the edge of a building, little cornerstone. And then you notice more and more until you realize that as you're walking, we pan the camera back slightly. We can see the group of you walking, and you're walking up an avenue of what at some point in ancient history was like a city. So we see these like sand scoured ruins all around you. And up ahead, maybe as the rest of the party starts to notice this, up ahead you see a massive stone shape. There is an obelisk or something ahead of you that is dark against the swirling sand, dark against the darkness, and above it, this white light kind of shining down, casting its shadow, and you're walking in this linear shadow towards an enormous like obelisk or tower or something in the desert. Everyone else, you will occasionally, you'll catch shapes in the darkness and the swirling of the sand. You have the light from your little bubble. And so I think quite a bit later, you notice bits of like ancient road. You realize you're standing on something that it doesn't slide the way that sand does. You notice a cobblestone and then a few more linked together. And then I think all of you kind of come to the realization you're walking on a path or a road, and that there are like ruins around you. However scoured by the sand and the wind they are.
Do I recognize the granted, I'm not a dwarf or a stonemason or anything, but do I recognize? Is the path recognizable of anything I've seen before, or anything I've walked on?
I mean, I think if you try to slow down to look at it, and then Ramus just like pulls you along, right? Because Ramus is a big line.
Okay. Okay. Ramus, dude, is the star close? I call out ahead.
We're almost there. I can see it. We're almost to it. We've been guided.
Can I make an insight check to see if not lying, but to see if like he's like religion lust right now or something like that?
Has he gone cuckoo for God?
Yeah, like has he gone cuckoo for God? Exactly. Is that a thing I could do?
I mean, I don't think you need to make an insight check. I think we can all tell he's got a little cuckoo. Yeah, I don't think you need to make a roll.
Okay. Right. What do you mean we're almost there, Ramus? To the star? The star is in front of you?
The star, it's right there on top of the tower.
I turn to Kalimat and I just kind of shake my head.
You don't even see Kalimat. All you can do is yell at each other through the sand.
Well, he would be in front of me, so I wouldn't turn.
Yeah.
Kalimat, do you see what he's talking about? He's ahead of me by 5 or 10 feet. Yeah. Do you see the star that is in front of us?
Do I with a 20?
You don't see shit. Like
okay.
even with a great check, like you can make out more of the structures. Like you're definitely where you're in some kind of like ruined city or temple or something, but you don't see any light source other than the light source that Ramus gave you.
Ramus, how many steps ahead? How close? In a form of measurement.
We're few hundred feet from the inner of the city, I would say.
Yeah, like I mean, you don't really know. You just see its shadow being cast by this blue light of the star. You would guess at this distance that the tower is like you look back and it just like extends immeasurably. Like it's like thousands of feet tall, and the star you're following, you realize is like as if someone grabbed the sun and brought it down and set it atop this tower. And like as you look around, everything is limned in this silver light. And I think we see Ramus, and your eyes are open, and the fucking sand is just blowing in your eyes, but you can see everything so clearly. But no one else can. Everyone else just sees swirling dust.
Okay. Well, if Ramus doesn't stop, I'm not going to stop.
We're almost there. You have to believe me. We're almost to our destination. I can feel it. We're so close. Just a little further.
Let's carry on. Kalimat, keep an eye out.
Will do.
Yeah, we keep going.
All right. So you carry on, and yeah, I think about another hour of walk. Ramus, you follow this tower and get closer and closer to it, and we can see that the group of you pass under a massive, still standing, massive stone arch, and the archway appears to be like a carved in the shape of figures. There's a male and female like figure with their hands up, and in between them there's an enormous 7-pointed star. They seem to be like holding it up, and you pass under this archway, and all feature on their face has been like eroded by however long millennia of sand blowing across these statues, but you can still make out the shape. And you enter into the courtyard of this deserted place, and you all begin to see it. You can all see this massive stone tower, and it's not as tall as Ramus thought it was, or as it is appearing to Ramus, but it is, 20 or 30 stories tall. And I think that we see it at a distance as a massively silhouetted dark shape in the distance. But Ramus, to you, as you get closer, the light of this illuminating light begins to fade, And when it does, your vision and everyone else's vision kind of like match up. And now you see this 30-story or whatever tower, but it's a ruin. It's the top of it has been broken off and lies crumbled on the ground nearby. Maybe the top like 4 or 5 stories, just like fallen. And then the tower itself, much like all the sand around it, is just like scoured clean and smooth, and lies in ruins before you. And as soon as you see it, the light of the star like fades, and now suddenly your eyes hurt really bad, and like you're out in the desert, and your friends are behind you. And I guess Kalimat, like you walk up, Ramus stops, so you like walk up, you can see him.
Oh,
And
my
he's
eyes!
suddenly stopped.
Oh God, they hurt so bad. But we're here. I led us here, right? We're here. Whoever this is.
Yes, that is accurate.
Where is here?
I don't know, Berg. Who do you think lives here?
I don't know, but I'm tired of this sand, and I just I like shove him by, and I'm walking towards the base of this tower.
Yeah, Berg follows after because he's also tired of the sand.
Did you say there was any like entrance or doorway or anything?
I don't think
like
we
that?
can see it, right? Oh, there is.
As you get closer, you can see there's an entrance, big set where normally there would be double doors, but it's a ruin, so there's no wood, only the stone has remained. The bottom floor is just like a massive circular room, more or less protected from the sand outside. There's some areas where the roof above and the wall have kind of broken in, so there's sand piled up around on the inside. But yeah, as you walk in, there's shelter. It's cold, but there's shelter.
How big is the space that we're in?
I don't know.
How far can I see inside this space?
The light spell extends as far as far as you can see. It's big because I mean the tower is really tall, right? So the base would have to be quite large.
I think when we first walk in, or when I first walk in, hello.
Echoes off the wall. You can still hear the wind howling outside. But now, finally, the wind is not scouring at your body. You come inside, and it's like echoey and quieter.
I call back if Ramus isn't in here. Ramus, what is this place?
The answer to your prayer.
So you can see as you all enter, Kalimat, the light that you're carrying shines on the floor, and the floor is carved to appear. Again, it has that 7-pointed star in the middle of it, and then 7 smaller 7-pointed stars around it, and then there is imagery of water all the way around the other side, so waves and currents. There's a broken statue near the door. Like when you come in, there's 2 of them. One of them is broken off like at the knees, and its rubble it's strewn on the floor in pieces that are unrecognizable. The other appears to be a human woman, and she's holding an urn, and she's got it tipped forward, but nothing is coming out of it. But she's standing in a basin. The basin is full of sand.
Can I do some sort of like history, religion check or something like that? Maybe I've seen this or heard of this 7-pointed star in my travels.
Yeah, whatever check you want to make, I'll give you different information. So,
what are you best at, Collie? Because I have a 7 in Arcana, so I can make that. But I also have a 7 in history, so
I'll make a religion check on it.
Okay.
Not very well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's confusing because the outside architecture would indicate that if it's a temple at all, this would be a temple to the tower, right? Because other temples are not built in this fashion. But the imagery,
the Star of the Tarot, is it 7-pointed?
It is, yes. The interior of the tower, however, is very much decorated, as with the arch, decorated with the symbology of the star.
I'm gonna make Arcana
with an 8.
check.
That's all you're gonna get.
19 for Arcana.
Okay. Yeah, I mean everything about this place says temple to you, Salihafa. There isn't anything that indicates that this is a domain of wizards or of arcane magic. You can, with a 19, you can rule out basically any of that. It's a place of formerly or potentially still like a sacred place.
Would I make a survival check to see if this has been lived in recently?
Yeah, sure. But before you do that, Berg, what are you doing, Berg? And also, yeah, Kalimat, you wanted to make a check. Did you want to make one?
Yeah, do the religion.
Okay. Okay. So same thing that Ramus Ramus knows, but not as detailed necessarily. You could say like with a 6, I'll let you decide, Kalimat. You're pretty sure it's either a temple to the tower or a temple to the star. You just pick whichever one that you think Kalimat would be more convinced of.
Okay. I'll just keep. I mean, since I'm not like absolutely positive, I'll just keep my thoughts to myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Berg, what are you doing?
Well, Berg followed in Salihafa first, and I think at first like kind of he's like wiping away sand, like specifically from his face and like anything that's like caked under his eyes and stuff. And then after like being in the temple, he looks around and kind of maybe goes up to like walls and stuff and examines different decorations. Because you described a bunch of, like, you can kind of go over it again. Just what exactly is inside of it in terms of like, is there anything that would catch Berg's eye in terms of like just stuff that's been decorated and, of the old ruins, since it is a temple?
The place is, yeah, it's large. You can't go any further than whatever 60 feet from Kalimat, or it's dark. But you have your dark vision, so you can, if you wander past that. Yeah, it's hard to say what its original purpose was. It's so ruined, and has been for so long, that whatever used to happen here, you couldn't guess. There are staircases. If you go further back, there's a set of curling stairs that go kind of up to the next floor near the back, and there's a large raised area. And I think, Berg, you're the person who runs into the inhabitant of this place. If you go wandering off towards the back, Berg, you hear him first. So while your friends are nearer to the entrance, as you get further away, you hear a dry, like, scraping sound. You're just like shh, 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 on the stone ahead of you. You can go further. It's outside your field of vision. You don't see anything, but you can hear it from the darkness ahead of you.
Berg probably stops when he hears that, and like kind of like goes, acts a little less composed than he normally would be. How far away from the party and the entrance would I be?
You're pretty far back. Yeah, I don't know, like 100 feet, maybe more. Like, this place is big. It's a big circular area.
And he can't really identify what the sound is. Like, I'm asking you from his current, like being at 5.
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, you could make an intelligence check or a perception check. Make a perception check.
Sure.
14. Okay. The sound, it's not so much that you recognize it, but the sound reminds you of, there was a maid that remember the like downstairs apothecary shop, the like that guy, the like merchant, the tea merchant or whatever, in the downstairs shop. So he had a maid that would come and like tidy up for him. And you remember in the mornings, like opening the windows and like everybody waking up, you remember the sound of her broom on the stones outside his shop, and it made that same like that scraping sound.
Okay.
And that's the memory that you twig to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say given that, and that's the memory that like conjures up in Berg's mind. He moves forward to investigate where that's coming from, what that is, since it's a pleasant memory, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like maybe there's a tea shop.
Okay. So you press forward, and you see someone standing 4 or 5 steps up the stairs, and he's wearing white robes, like monk's robes. He has bare feet, shaved head. He has his back to you because he's sweeping sand off the steps. And he's just like sweeping the steps. He's still pretty far away, so you can't make out any more than that, but he doesn't seem to have noticed you.
So what is Berg's position in relation to him? Like, I'm going up steps right now. Berg's going up steps and hasn't seen this dude that's above him. Is that what's happening? Or
yeah, you see this guy. You see the guy. He's on the stairs, but he's working his way down the stairs. He's sweeping them from the top down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so he's slowly like sweeping. So
Berg's
steps.
coming up the steps. The guy's up above me. He hasn't noticed me. He's sweeping off.
Yeah, you're not even on the steps yet. You're just kind of like near it.
Okay. But yeah, I think Berg kind of like stands at the bottom of the steps and kind of like looks up to see if he can get a better look at him.
I'm gonna roll to see if he notices you. You're not trying to be
stealthy
at all. Okay.
I mean, I'm not being loud.
Yeah, totally. You're just like moving, but you're not actively like trying to sneak.
Yeah, this is normal, right? For sure.
Okay. Yeah. So he stops. He like, and he turns around, and you see his face. And he, so he has, he's very, very plain. He's got a shaved head. He has these like monk's robes tied simply around his waist. He has a necklace of wooden beads, and he has very like kind of drawn and like craggy features. He's got a prominent forehead, quite prominent cheekbones, and his eyes are like blank. They're just like white, like spheres. You can't really see color very well because of like dark vision. But and he stops and he says quietly. Like quietly enough that only you can hear him. He says, "Is someone there?"
Hi.
He stops. He says, "A visitor? Come a little closer." And he gestures with one hand.
Can Berg make any sort of, you know, sense moment, or unless that's above him, you know what I mean? Or is Berg just kind of, you can kind of tell me where he's at with.
It's up to you if you feel like. I mean, Berg is he's got
a weird scenario for sure.
And your intelligence 5. So if you think you feel threatened, then maybe you get angry or like just like growl or like something. Like
no, I think this is more just to, if I can roll something to see his intent or whatever, just because very odd scenario. Even Berg, it's stupid.
Roll insight.
Yeah, exactly.
Insight check. That's what it's for.
If he didn't have blank eyes.
Okay, a 10. You don't think that he's trying to you don't think he's trying to like lure you in. You don't get a fear response.
Okay. And Berg like maybe takes a couple steps up and like looks up further at him like,
Who? You?
And he looks down. He says, "Just a simple monk? And you? A traveler? Supplicant come to pray? I think you're a little late, friend." And he like sweeps the edge of the broom, and the broom spins on his wrist, and then he like flips it onto his shoulders and kind of like puts his hands over it and like leans back a little bit.
I thought you said the room spins.
No, the broom. The broom spins around his wrist.
He flips the room.
Yeah, flips the room around.
I mean, that would be some crazy wizard shit, right? Yeah. What did he say last?
He said, a supplicant, come to pray. You're a little late, I think. And he says, a simple man. I appreciate simplicity. And he sits down on the steps, and he says, I could use a break. Puts the broom down next to him, and he says, what's your name, traveler?
Berg.
Do you like riddles, Berg?
No.
And
Berg. Bad. No. Not.
And if he's looking at Berg does this motion like
the kid's head, yeah. And he says, "Oh no, you've the advantage. Then this isn't the sort of riddle you can solve." And he smiles, and he says, "Two monks were once traveling together down a muddy road. A heavy rain was falling. Coming around a bend, they met a lovely girl in a silk robe and sash, unable to cross the intersection. 'Come on, girl,' said one monk. Lifting her in his arms, he carried her over the mud. The other monk did not speak again until that night when they reached the lodging temple. It was then he could no longer restrain himself. 'We do not go near women,' he told the other monk, 'especially not those young and lovely ones. It is dangerous. Why did you do that?' 'I left the girl there,' said the first. 'Why are you still carrying her?'
Good riddle.
He laughs, and I think the rest of you hear someone laugh. You hear laughter, like quiet, gentle laughter, echo in the temple.
Yeah, I think.
What was that?
I think we.
Yeah, all of you hear this sound, and it's not.
Wait, where's Berg?
I immediately look around.
Yeah. Berg's not. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you can't see Berg.
Berg, call out, Berg. Where are you?
Berg!
And the monk looks at you, Berg, and he says, "Oh, Berg, your friends. Go. Let them know I'm here."
Oh, okay.
And Berg just like goes down the steps and goes back.
Mm-hmm.
I think wherever he appears, I'd like run. Berg, where were you? Who was laughing?
The man.
Yeah. And as Berg is speaking, at the edge of your light, Kalimat, you see a man approaching. He's holding what you maybe think is a spear or a staff at first, and realize it's a broom. And then you see the monk. And when he steps out into the light, it's clear to everyone that he's blind. His eyes are just like white and useless, and he moves with a fluid uncertainty. This sense that like he knows he doesn't know the world around him and is being careful not to stumble. But he also moves like a monk trained in the martial arts. And so he comes forward and steps into the light and bows deeply. And he says, "You must be Berg's friends."
Indeed, we are.
Pleased to meet you.
Are?
He grins and he says, "Oh, I just want to be left alone."
Well, then let me offer you my sincerest apologies for intruding onto your home. On behalf of me and my companions.
This isn't my home. You haven't intruded. You're welcome here.
Oh. Well, thank you very much for letting us know.
Please, it's been some time. I hadn't expected anyone until the caravan was arriving, but that's meant to be a few days from now. if you don't mind my saying so, the rest of you look, well, you look a little terrible. Have you been in the desert long? Are your camels outside? Do you have enough to eat, to drink?
Yes. No.
One moment. Berg, I'm sorry for interrupting you. We look terrible? Are you not blind?
He laughs and he says, I speak not of your physical appearance. You look weary. Your souls flicker like candles in a heavy breeze.
Forgive my ignorance. Yes, we are at the end of a long journey with no camels, no mounts. We found ourselves lost in this desert. If I may ask one question.
Of course.
Where are we?
An interesting question. One predicated on where you came from, but maybe more importantly, where do you think that you are?
I look to see if Ramus is going to speak. Just kind of out of the side of my eye. Do you say anything, Ramus?
As the silence lingers, Berg says,
Desert.
Yes, that's right. In the desert. Well, in a temple in the desert.
This temple in the desert. It seems like there are differing symbols. It feels as though we're in the tower, but I see the star.
Tell me, friend, what do you know of the purpose of the Arcana? Why do the gods exist? And why do we owe them our worship?
To guide our souls to the cycle of life.
Ramus, when you speak, his body language completely changes. He drops slightly into a crouch and like snaps the broom in your direction, like startled. He doesn't take a swing at you, but he like points it at you, and he says, "Who said that?"
Ramus, maybe you shouldn't speak anymore.
Oh, you see souls, do you?
And he spins the broom around again, and he says, "Get behind me, travelers. Some dark thing is here."
Yes, quite dark. I shuffle over to him. I'm playing.
Not exactly light yourself, sir, Sally.
So yeah, when he does that, one of his hands takes on like a stony like cast, and the air around it starts to glow.
Wait, sir,
yeah,
sir,
and he's like,
sir,
getting ready to fight.
This is our friend. You're speaking. Do you see souls? He doesn't have one.
And he kind of like untenses a little bit and turns to look at you. It's like how funny. He says, "What? Doesn't have a soul? That's impossible. Everyone does."
Well, it's misplaced.
How unfortunate.
You lose them just as easy as you lose. They just kind of trail off.
He tosses the broom in your direction, Calumet. Do you want to catch it, or just step out of the way and let it fall?
No, I'll definitely catch
it. Just hits Berg.
Yeah,
no, I quickly step out of the way and just go.
All right, and so Ramus, he takes a couple of steps towards you, like cautious steps, with his hands up, like one would, you know. So he puts his hands up and he says, "Come closer." To you, Ramus.
Promise you won't hit me?
I swear it.
Okay. I walk up cautiously to him.
Okay. So yeah, he puts his hands on your face, and on like your sternum, and he finds your holy symbol, and he closes his hand around it, and he says, "Huh, how unusual, a priest without a soul."
Yes. I only have no bits and pieces about why it's missing.
I don't mean to alarm you, but you shouldn't exist.
Well, thank you.
Well, hold on here. We have. How do you see souls, sir?
A gift for my long service to the Arcana.
And which Arcana would that be?
I am a monk of the hermit.
I immediately shoot a look towards Ramus to see how he interprets that or his response to that. Being that,
Yeah. What is the hermit's aspect of the Arcana usually?
The hermit. Let me get a more specific thing here. But the hermit is about searching and seeking solitude for the purposes of introspection. And then part of the hermit's journey is returning from that solitude with answers or guidance. So those who serve the hermit often go out into distant, hard to reach places to be alone, so they can learn from the universe. And when they return to their communities, they give and grant guidance to people in those communities.
Is this where you're spending your hermitage?
He laughs and he says, "No, no, the world's my hermitage. I'm here waiting for a caravan. I'm looking to make some trades. There's a tribe that travels through here every once in a while, and I beat them by a few days, but they should be by."
how did you get here? There's no... I look around. Do I see a camel?
No.
How did you get here? There's no camel. Our journey was quite difficult.
I took the trip in a most unusual way. One foot placed upon the earth, the other lifted and placed again in front of it.
I audibly
Again
laugh.
and again across the sand. And he smiles. He smiles when he acknowledges that you kind of like get the joke.
The
He looks
second-
over and killing me.
It takes me a second to get the joke, and I turn to Ramus. Where's the bag? Give me the bag. Give me the bag, Ramus.
No.
Turn back. And, wait, a caravan. How far are we from the city of Brest? Do you know the city?
He nods. Yes. I spent some time there in my youth. As for distance, some way. A dangerous journey, especially with omens being what they are.
How many days on foot could you estimate?
I wouldn't make the journey on foot, were I you. You'll need mounts, supplies.
What is this caravan that's coming? Just traveling merchants?
No. Desert wanderers. They're orcs.
Ah, well, we like orcs. Don't we, Berg?
A tribe
Yes.
from the deep desert. They stop here during this season to make trade, pay homage.
Excellent.
You mentioned bad omens. What did you mean?
These are perilous times. Certainly your advisors have told you. You've seen them, the signs, the darkness to come.
Been a little more preoccupied with my soul situation.
Well, you're part of a very profitable priesthood, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, excuse,
Do you know much about this place? Was this a place of worship for the tower?
More complicated than that. There are temples that act... Have you ever seen a relay race? You know, where one runner passes a baton to another as they share the journey. This place is transitionary, where those beset by the misfortunes of the tower could come and gaze upon the star. A place of hope for those in darkness.
So
As soon as he says star, like the image of the star that I saw in as coming here, it flashes back in my brain.
Would you say that this place is a resting point for pilgrims or a destination for those who are fraught with omens?
This place is a dream that someone forgot.
Ah.
So this...
what brings you here? You come here to pray and to reflect?
Places of solitude are our specialty. I found myself drawn to it. How did you find it? Happenstance? Random stumbling?
The gods led us.
Than you know. Actually,
I asked the gods, and they guided me here. Believe it or not.
Well, as I said, you're welcome. I'm going to be here a few days.
We saw smoke rising several days ago, and that's what brought us here. We were in the middle of the desert with no direction or hope, and we saw smoke rising. Was that you?
No. I wouldn't be able to make that much smoke. You wouldn't be able to see it from a distance. You must have seen something else. A mirage, maybe.
Perhaps. Well, when is the caravan due to arrive?
Soon. A few days.
Excellent. Forgive me, my manners. I am Kalimat. And you are?
Oh, I just want to be left alone.
Okay. Fair enough.
When he says that, Adam, when he says that, I would like to do an insight check of whether he's hiding something when he says that, like he doesn't want us to ask.
Sure. Yeah, make an insight check.
Oh,
24?
24? No, that's his name.
Oh.
You're asking him his name, and he's just telling you.
Oh, he's a monk named I just want to be left alone. Okay.
His name is I just want to be left alone.
The funny thing is, Adam, I actually assumed that.
Right. Yeah.
Is there a short version of that? Can we just call you Alone?
Most people shorten it to left alone, but call me what you will. Monk will do, unless anyone else here is.
Very true. There's not many other people here, so left alone it shall be. Kalimat, this is my friend Berg, who you've met, Ramus and Salihafa. Would it be an affront of any sort if we were to rest here? It has been a long journey, and sand is in places that I'd rather not speak of in a holy land.
Is a temple no one visits still a temple? Is holy ground that has no parishioners still holy? Do the gods still live here, or have they moved on?
Have you explored the upper floors? Is there anything up there?
More ruins. Dangerous, the upper floors. More prone to collapse.
Well, I guess I'm asking you personally then, left alone. Would you have any problems with us resting here?
Oh, no, I don't care. There's plenty of room.
Thank you. Perfect. What is the nearest, I don't know, anything that could be considered a village, a township, where people gather and actually live for a time? Is there any place close?
In this part of the desert, no. No, the only people that live out here are tribes that move around. And you can see why. This is what happens to stone structures that are built out here. The desert reclaims them.
Do you know the name of the orc tribe that is in the caravan that is on its way here?
I don't speak Orcish. I wouldn't want to try to reproduce it. Fear of saying something embarrassing. And he looks at Berg.
These traders, are they amiable? Can I offer them gold for mounts or that kind of thing? Or would you say they're a little bit more hostile?
I think that if you ply your way with gold and trade, then it doesn't matter if they're hostile or not.
Well, they might just see that I'm offering gold and kill me and take it. I'm wondering if that's the kind of people they are.
They're not brigands.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't want to assume, but it's better to be sure. I'm sure you know.
He turns to you, Sully, and he says, "Have you ever been to Kachua?"
Have I been to Kachua?
I don't know. I don't think you even know what that is.
Yes.
He grins and he says, "I'm headed there next. I've never been. I hear it's beautiful,
Why do you
but
ask?
that its people are." And you say, "Why do you ask?"
Yeah.
Make a deception check.
I think I know what that is now just by what he said, but I don't know if... Well, we'll see what happens. 11.
Okay, I'll roll his insight.
Which is, he's a monk. It's gonna be fucking.
Yeah, it's going to be high.
Oh no!
Oh, +6.
Caught him off guard.
Ah.
So he said to you, he's like, "Have you ever been there? I hear it's beautiful." And then what do you say?
Why do you ask?
He says, "Oh, well, I'm not very good with new customs, new cultures, and seeing as how you're one of their sort, I thought you might be able to give me some hints about how best to navigate."
I am not one of... I am not that type of turtle. And I kind of shift my eye to see if he understands what I'm saying.
You'll have to forgive me. I wasn't aware that there were different sorts.
Yes. I am from much further south, we'll say.
Interesting. You might like to come along then to Kachua.
No, I'm quite fine.
He smiles and says, "As you will."
I do have one quick question. Might seem odd, but I've been wondering for quite some time. What year is it?
By whose reckoning?
Do I know an answer to that I would know the reckoning?
Yeah, like the courts. The courts have a very, very specific calendar that was laid out at the founding of heaven, right? With the year zero being the essentially the dawn of time, which is horseshit because there was loads of time before that. But like the dawn of time is when heaven's gates opened and the first divine emperor or whatever was crowned and like all that horseshit. And then every year from there has been forward. And the courts use a calendar, but individual like communities, dwarves have their own calendar,
right?
That kind of thing.
Whatever year that I would know that when we left into the realm of Utrix, that's what I'll say to him. Whatever the court or whatever the city of Brass goes by, the most common year there.
Yeah, he gives you a date because I don't know specifically, but he gives you a date that is it's congruous with the amount of time you've been away. There hasn't been any unusual change, and he says, "Though I have to tell you, friend Turtle, that's a strange question. Did you lose some time?"
Well, I thought we did, but not anymore. Thank you, sir. We'll be staying here for a couple of days. I'm not sure if we'll be able to trade with the orcs. I turn to Kalimat and say that we've lost all our gold.
Well, I have some small amount on my own person. I never put all my gold in one pouch. But
ouch.
I just look towards Ramus when I say
Ramus is sulking.
Oh,
hard.
That was meant. That was like totally like an aside, like, yeah. But I mean, it might
There's
be
plenty of room in here if you want to put it in here.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Why don't you jump in there and check and see?
Forgive us, sir. Don't ask about the bag.
Nothing wears on a friendship like a long journey. I understand. That's why I don't have any friends. I'm going to go back to sweeping the steps, if you don't mind. I find it meditative.
Well, that wind's going to keep blowing, so you'll be meditating for quite some time.
He smiles and he says, "Isn't that the way of things? You sweep the steps, the gods blow the sand back in." And he walks off into the darkness, just kind of like humming to himself.
I turn around. Monks are so stupid sometimes.
Fair. It's fair.
I believe we found place to rest, though. Hopefully those orcs... Berg, you're not... Will orcs attack you for any reason? Is there different tribes of orcs? I do not know much about orc culture.
So slightly hard to answer, I guess. I'm going to reference you, Adam, in the way that orcs behave in this are in this world. I would think no, but based on Berg's intelligence and stuff like that, he would still know these things. I would think no, they'd probably be just surprised, right? To see a half orc of his, of him, if they're full orc anyways.
So to distinguish half orc and full orc and that stuff, that's human bullshit. There's no such thing, right? Like humans, they're like, yo, if you have any orcish blood in you at all, you're a orc. Like we will treat you like an orc. You are an orc. For orcs, it's the inverse. It's like if you have any orcish blood in you, you have the blood right to claim a place in a clan or a tribe. Right. But yeah, so it varies, and all the different clans and tribes and free orcs and enslaved orcs and they're all different. There's a lot of orcs in the world, and they run the gamut.
Yeah, it's my understanding that they're kind of unified, and that a lot of them are destined to servitude and that. So.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Ramus, you would know that there is a story among the Arcana, less popular now than maybe it used to be, but there's a story among the priesthood that's Judgment and Justice got together one day and decided that they needed a way to punish people who had been bad, people who had lived a bad life, right? Merchants who had cheated, men who had philandered. They needed a way to make them pay for their bad things that they did, so they would learn humility. And so Justice and Judgment got together and they went to the world and they said, we need you to make us orcs. We need orcs to exist so that we have a kind of people for humans to learn to be better by suffering, by living a life of suffering. And that's the orc creation story. But some people are like, yo, that orcs have been around longer than the Arcana have, but mostly that's not how they talk about it. But yeah, so that's a thing that you would know about orcs.
Okay. So your question, from Sally was, these orcs won't harm you or anything, right? There's no blood. There's no bad blood with tribes or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Berg takes a moment to think about it.
No. Surprised. Maybe to see me here.
We should make it very clear that you are not our, and I hesitate to use the word, you're not our captor. We're not here, you're not here by us keeping you here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But Berg also shows the clamp.
Right, but we did not place that on you. Perhaps maybe they can help with that. You never know.
Maybe. I will say good for you.
Yes. You need to rest.
You can see from his you can see that he's mentally just drained and also frustrated. He's trying to motion as if it helps. You can see the frustration in his head because he knows he's not supposed to be this dumb.
Yeah. No,
that's the worst. That's the worst part, right? The last couple of points where you're like, oh, I should be able to put this together, but I can't. There's just something. It's like having a really bad cold and you can't focus on anything else. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I immediately see that. You should rest. You've gotten better the past couple of days. Maybe tomorrow will be even better.
Yes. Rest.
I look down at my feet and kind of look around. Would you rather... I wonder if... Should we stay inside with the monk or stay out here? I don't think it matters one way or the other, but do you have a preference?
Yeah, I mean, you have your dome or whatever, so
yeah.
No, definitely we stay in here.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Keeps you out of the wind.
Yeah, I start kind of pushing them away and start making the incantation and whatnot for the dome.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about, we can montage between, because the next thing that happens is that in 3 days, the awaited orc caravan arrives. So for each of you, what does that 3 days look like? It's the group of you, and then occasionally, kind of coming and going, this monk who, the longer that you have with him, the more you realize, like, and I think this is something that's, again, like harder or easier to tell depending on your character's knowledge of these things. The monk is a genasi. He's an earth genasi. And that's something that I think becomes evident the more time you spend with him.
Can you give me the name of that city again, by the way? I want to write it down.
Yeah, Kachua was the thing that he was saying. Yeah, Kachua.
Kachua. Okay. And can I? This is where the desert Toril people live. Is that a good?
I mean, you don't know. That's the inference that you got, because he was like, "Can you tell me anything that I need to know if I go there? Because your people live there."
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
No, there's definitely something that I would like that I've been I don't know, it just popped in my head, and I kind of wanted to ask him if he had any songs that I could add to my songbook or teach me.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you doing when this conversation comes up? Because we can do what I'm thinking is, like, each of you will do a little vignette of like a scene. This is a great opportunity if you have any goals you think you can resolve in one scene while you're on like downtime. Fucking now's the time to do it.
Yeah,
but yeah, Kalimat, you wanna like learn a song from the monk?
Yeah. I want to find him sweeping one day and ask if I can help. And grab a broom and sweep with him.
Sure. Okay.
Kind of tell him my backstory, like, you know, from a nomadic family. I'm a jack of all trades. I picked up this and that, and I show him my songbook, and like I've picked up.
Here's what
I tell
happens.
him like the story.
He's sitting on a stair, a clean stair, several steps above you, reading your songbook, looking through your songbook, because there's only one broom. So when you asked him, like, "Can I help?" he just threw the broom at you and was like, "Yes." And he's flipping through it, and he's like, rude, decadent, lewd. I love them. You can't see, right? So he's just joking. And he says,
fucking belly laugh. That's so good.
Yeah. Mostly the songs that I know are religious lessons in secret, meant to sound like songs. But I do know a few about a saint or two you might enjoy. And he teaches you a really lewd song about some like abbot of a monastery. It's a song about a particular guy, but it's sung as like the abbot, but the song goes into great detail. So if you knew the context, you would know exactly who it was, about like his lack of sexual prowess and his just general terribleness. And he says at the end, he teaches you, and once he's sure you've kind of got it, he says, what's wonderful about it is that it was written so that if you have an abbot you don't like, you can just change out some of the words and the tune stays the same. I've heard dozens of variations on the song. Every single monastery knows a variation of this song, and if you sing it for them and you personalize it, I promise you, it doesn't matter which arcana they worship, they'll love you.
I've heard jokes and bawdy tales with interchangeable names told by different people hundreds of days apart. The same exact joke, but with different things. So I'm familiar with with this kind of tale and tune.
The universe is a broad and beautiful place full of billions of strange mysteries, but everyone, everywhere, loves a good dick joke.
You are not wrong, my friend. You are not wrong.
Yeah, so
you're like no monk I've ever met.
Yeah, he says, I try very hard. So during this time period, you get an opportunity. You talk to the monk and learn a new song. Sully, is there anything that you want to do while this time is going on?
I will ask him as many questions as possible to find how many specific steps he's wandered and try to put a map to the desert.
Okay. So you try to sit down with him and like figure out based on his travel. Okay, it's fucking infuriating.
Oh, I know. That's why I don't want to RP this out.
Sure. So every time he looks at the map, he's like, "Oh, I can't see where I've been," because he's like, "I'm blind. I have no use for maps." Right. But he said, and then I was 4 days from. I walked 4 days west from a stone, and then I found a cactus, and I turned around. And I went 3 days back the way I came. Like he's trying to fuck with you, and he's trying to like teach you a lesson about how like it doesn't matter where you're going; it's about where you are. Yeah. So let's make an opposed roll. I'm gonna roll his performance.
Okay.
What do you want to roll? Do you want to roll like investigation or?
I'll do if I'm making a map. But I'm doing it by acquiring information from him. I guess investigation would probably be the best. Because, right, it's about the...
Yeah, because you're trying to pull actual clues out of his, like, silly...
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to roll first and I'll... Okay. Beat a 9.
All right, so he's not trying too hard.
So if I roll a 2 or higher...
yeah, you should be okay as long as you don't critically fail this.
Okay, 16. All
right. So yeah, eventually you get sort of some idea of like where he's been, and it seems like he's more concerned with where he is and what's ahead of him, right? Like he talks about going to Quechua and how difficult that's going to be, and that he trusts in the gods to guide him to it, wherever he might go, and he tells you about a sacred site in the deep desert that he visited some months back, but he never gives you specific time or distance.
Okay.
What are you trying specifically to find out? Like where the city is from here, or?
I'm trying to pinpoint where we're at.
Okay.
In the desert.
You get the impression that somewhere like northwest of here, there's an intersection of an old trade road, because the desert does have roads running through it. Because he mentions more than once that he came across travelers in that direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you head northwest from here, eventually in some amount of time, you'll come to a road. And then based on what you know, if you get to that road and you go west, you'll get to the city. Because if you're on a road in the desert, you can only go one of two directions, towards or away from the city of Brass.
Okay. And then as a quote reward for his information, I will teach him the one I'll teach him the one like racial slur for desert turtle people. And I say like this is a great way to greet people in Quechua.
Okay, make a deception check. Let's see if he can figure out that you're trying to lie to him.
It's an 11.
This guy is just like, you're just taking him to town.
Yeah.
So yeah, he leans in and you teach him this word, and he says, good. Always important to know the appropriate honorifics. I will remember this. Thank you, friend Silly Huffa.
Oh my God.
Also, I will make it a note. The second we leave, I'm gonna tell him don't say that word.
Okay, you're gonna remember it. All right.
Yeah. I feel really bad about him just walking in. Hey, what's up? And they just shoot him. He just dies.
So, Berg, do you have anything that you want to be doing? Your intelligence is slowly, like by the time the orcs arrive, your intelligence is back to normal.
Probably not. Probably Berg spending his time like wondering what the orcs are gonna like say to him. He hasn't. I mean, he still hasn't. He doesn't encounter a lot of orcs. The last ones he encountered was before they went into the whole seclusium and all that shit. That plane.
Yeah. So
he spends his thoughts are circling around like, how are they going to be different compared to them, and all that.
Yeah. So the monk comes up to you at one point when you're. I don't know. Maybe you've gone outside the tower The sun is setting, the desert and all of the ruins, because now the storm is gone. You can see that you're like in a ruined, not just a temple, but a temple complex, like a small town of stone buildings that have all collapsed and crumbled and been eaten by the desert. And he comes up to you, walks up behind you, and he says, so Berg, have you figured it out?
What?
Why that monk was carrying that girl around.
Oh. No. I don't know.
You're a man with burdens, aren't you?
Yes. I'd say so.
Part of being a monk is learning to let go of earthly things, riches, people's opinions about you, our attachments to the world. The more attached we are to the things around us, the more we're like to suffer. Does that sound like it makes sense to you?
Yes.
What do you want from your life, Berg?
Berg like furrows his brow and thinks kind of hard.
I want no more pain.
Absence of pain is one goal no one can achieve, I think. But we can limit the pain that we feel.
Then less pain.
Consider, Berg. And he puts his hand on your wrist. He says, consider. What are you carrying around that it is time to let go of? Something to think on, I think. Are you excited for the caravan?
Yes. I don't see my kind too often.
Yes, nor do I, but only because we're so uncommon. Are you nervous?
No.
Good. Good. Well, I like you very much, Berg, and I think they will too.
Thank you. Most don't.
People see in others their expectations. They have a hard time seeing what's in front of them and instead see what they expect, what they hope to see. I can't see it all, so I have an advantage in that regard. He smiles and he says, you are getting better. Good. Well, I'll leave you to the sunset. I have stairs to sweep.
As he like walks away, Berg's like,
Thank you for words.
He doesn't turn around, but we just see the camera is facing him, and we see you behind him, and we just see him smile. Ramus, I want to give you an opportunity to do something with your downtime. What are you going to do?
I think Ramus wants to like explore the upper sections a little bit for like looking for things of religious value. And I think maybe I convinced Calamot to come along with me.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So the two of you go like after the first day, you're just like, thank God we're not in the sand. The second day, it's like, okay, I'm starting to get a little bored. You want to go upstairs and investigate? And then just start like digging around upstairs. Cool.
I was looking for anything. And then I just asked Calamot, so were you like hatched out of an egg or How are you born? Been most curious.
Well, I think you'll just have to have sex with me and find out.
You got to put a ring on it, all right?
No. Dragonborn are born live.
Right, they don't call you dragon hatched.
Yeah. Yeah, we're born live. We emerge from our mothers, scales and all.
I must say, I've never seen any of your kind before. Or
funny that you say that, because I haven't either. Not since my parents, and not in my many travels.
Wow. In all your travels, you're to be so unique. Does everyone stare at you when you go to new places?
Oh, yes, but that's because I'm so handsome.
Well, obviously, but I just mean, like, does it get tiring being like something you can't just blend into the crowd? Everyone always notices.
You ask that because you travel with someone who doesn't blend into anything. You've traveled with Berg for quite some time. I imagine it's quite like that, except different looks on the faces. More wonder with mine, and more kind of standoffish with his, I'm sure.
Yeah. There was this one time we put a lovely mask on him and he looked fabulous for like a day. It didn't last long.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, but he's like a dog. You feed it once or twice, you don't really care for it, but then you start getting attached to it and like it follows you around and you get used to it being around. It's weird with him.
I understand. I wouldn't put it in those words, but I think you're probably your heart's in the right place. Speaking of your heart being in the right place, your soul, however, is not. You have no recollection as to how that happened.
No, it's fascinating. I can remember me dying. I died.
You died.
And look, you can see the scar, and I like lift up, and you can see where the orcs, the little goblins stabbed me right in the chest. Yeah. So there's a scar still there, and it stabbed me right there. I died protecting him. I point at Berg in the distance, and then I just was woken by someone that you may meet at some point. Just snapped to life. And in between, there was nothing. I don't remember anything. It's so weird. I don't know how long I was there. There's this feeling of like missing in that time.
I know how that feels. Huh.
Yes. Well, I did want to just tell you that I have appreciated having you along, because you are the one person that I can talk to like an adult, a human. The others are a little weird.
That is very true. It's the same for me. Talking to Sally Hoffa is like trying to converse with the largest book, but you take more personality away from the book, and then there's Sally Hoffa. He's charming in that, in his own right, and that's part of his charm. But honestly, to have someone with a little bit more liveliness to their speech, and maybe some sort of attitude that is outside of knowledge, just the seeking of knowledge and that kind of thing. And also, I think we have very similar tastes when it comes to valuables and wine and the fun things in life.
I like you, Raymond. You know how to party.
Yes. I've always had a thing for the finer things in life. I knew I liked you right away when you brought me bacon on our first meeting. And that, my friend, is the sole reason why I resurrected you later in that day, using my power, which I don't use that often on people. That bacon bought you your life. I want you to know that.
That's why it's my favorite food. It has a mysterious power to it. And don't think I am going to let you hold that over me forever. There's going to be a time when I repay you for the 2 times that you've...
Oh, don't worry. I'm keeping a tally. Don't worry. I will...
Got me out of a jam. No, I would imagine. What do you make of that monk? What do you think of him?
I think he's like most monks that go off on their own alone for very long periods of time. Little loopy. Lose touch with the reality a bit. They come back
That
saying all
actually
these... Yeah.
That actually brings up something. In the desert, you started acting very strangely. And I mean strangely in not your usual prickly self. You seem to have something that's foreign to you. It looked like you had hope. What happened?
Terrible, wasn't it?
It was very strange.
Have you ever just felt like you were not there, but I was there but not there at the same time. I could sense my body, myself, but that star I could see in the distance was just the one thing that my person focused on more than anything else. I didn't feel the sand, anything in my eyes. I just felt drawn to that. It was just intoxicating. Like a very strong drug where just you feel nothing, but you just float.
Now that I can relate to. What you described to begin with was some sort of religious experience that I frankly have never had. But a drug, I can relate to that.
Kalimat, you ever played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons high on cocaine?
Did we just spend the whole time talking, or did we find anything cool, Adam?
Let's have you roll a group investigation check.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Shit.
Woo. Awesome. Yeah. So Ramus gives advantage. Kalimat, you get the crit. The two of you explore the upper levels. And I mean, this place is ancient and ruined, right? Like it's been pillaged completely. But what I do think you find is an ancient stone mural around the outside of the everything. You've been walking past it as you've talked, but we see on it first an image of like Hieronymus Bosch style, like torment. Like there's, people being cut in half and like demons eating babies and stuff. And they're all dancing around the base of a mighty stone tower. And then as we progress, because you're meant to like walk around the outside of this image, as we progress, we see the tower being struck with lightning and burning, and all of the demons like on fire and like fleeing. And then the last scene, as you kind of like come to the end of your conversation, the last thing behind you, we see the tower's ruins have crumbled, and around them trees and vines have grown, and so the tower is like flowering like a tree trunk with leaves and branches. And above all of it, that 7-pointed star casting its light down on the people who are now standing around the base of the tower, looking up at the star. And that's the scene that's happening with you, like behind you as you speak. And I think that's something that the characters, like, you obviously discover it, but that's more kind of for us as an audience to have that as the backdrop for the conversation. And maybe that's the last shot of the episode, right? Is the two of you talking amiably with the as the camera pans up to see this scene of renewed hope, and then we fade out to the credits of today's episode.
Yeah.
Cool. Man, that chewing of ice took way longer than I thought it was. That's great. Yeah, let's end the episode. I was trying to catch you at the end of the words there, then just had to keep chewing. Let's do our goals before we do shout outs, Adam, so we don't forget.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So, Berg, unlock the power of the gift Agni gave you. Haven't done that yet. Find out why bad things keep happening to me. I feel like you're getting closer on that one. Like I think there's some potential for you here.
It's getting there.
Yep. And then reattune the apology. Haven't done any of those, but now you know for the next session that a tribe of orcs is coming. Do you want to change any of those out for something like orc clan related?
Yeah, I think let's learn the power of Agni, find out where bad things keep happening to you,
and reattune or attune to the apology.
You can always go back to that. Like if I can swap.
Oh yeah,
out.
yeah. It's not like you say you're never going to do them.
Yeah. Right. Okay, maybe maybe learn something meaningful about the orcs that are coming that relates to him in some way. You know? Yeah.
Right. So learn something about myself, or learn something about orcish culture, like
orcish culture. Yeah.
You have no place in the world, right? You're going to get an opportunity to meet with your people. So.
Yeah. So like learn something that maybe anchors Berg to the world in in a way through learning through his orcish culture. I think I talk about.
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna mention it, but chat already said so many times. Can I actually try to spend this time before the orcs come to reattune at least to attune to the new orcish, or not orcish, you know what I mean, the dwarven
weird hammer. Yeah. Remind me, and you can make that your first action next time.
Okay.
Cool.
Because there's a whole scene. We got to do a whole thing. It's not as easy as just being like.
Are you happy, chat? We're doing it. Woo!
Woo! All right.
That was chat there in the living room.
Ramus, you got Berg somewhere safe so he could recover. Kalimat, do you think, are you and Ramus closer?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. 100%. So you did two easies, which puts you at 1,400 more experience today. And you got two open slots, Ramus. Because I don't think you found out exactly where you are. Kalimat's working on that, but the orcs will probably be better at helping you with that. You have 2 slots. What do you want your goals to be for those?
Find out if it was the star who was guiding me, not the tower.
Okay.
Building.
Got it.
Learn what religion the orcs practice.
Okay, cool. Learn about orc religion. Perfect. That's a good one too. Okay, cool. And then find out where you are, which the orcs might be able to help with. Silly Hoffa, your goal was to keep Berg out of trouble, but I still want to give it to you because you saved him from trouble.
Yeah, I was the primary reason we got him out of there, right?
Yeah, he did wander into a pit of quicksand, but you couldn't help that. But you did rescue him.
Okay.
So you definitely did that one. And you're pursuing your find out. You definitely worked towards, but didn't resolve yet. Find out where we are before Ramus does. You got a head start on him.
I've got some ideas on how we're gonna beat Ramus with that.
So you get 700 experience for the goal you did resolve. What do you want to make your third goal? What do you want to fill that slot with?
The third goal would be to find the smartest orc in this upcoming tribe and figure out a secret that he knows, or learn knowledge from him, basically.
Yeah, learn something from them.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Professor Orcsworthy, Orc Science Division.
Yeah.
Okay. You look around, you see a bunch of orcs. Many of them have spikes through their heads and carry mighty axes, but one of them is wearing a top hat and a monocle.
Yeah. No, I approach him. Yeah.
So Kalimat, lead the party to relative safety, which you did. So that's 700 experience. And then you still have learn what the smoke on the horizon is and find out what the prisoner in the oubliette was. Do you want to keep those 2? And then if so, what do you want to make your third one?
Fuck. It's just so strange trying to make these goals, and because you want to be able to accomplish them, and long-term goals seem like
harder.
Well, no, I mean they seem harder, but they seem worthless to put in there right now, like right away. And if I do find it out, like
you want to hang on to them until like right before it happens. But that's, I mean, I take that into account, right? Like if you scrap a goal, I reassess every time. So if you are like one roll away from finding out what it is, the goal is going to be worth way less experience than if it's like right now it's very hard, but you could do it. You could luck into it. You could get a vision. You could, I don't know, drink some magic cactus juice and like take bigger risks to get there. So it's worth more. So it's up to you. The longer, like those deadly goals, like Berg's holding on to the why do bad things happen to me one. It's going to happen and it's going to be worth a lot because it's significant. Not necessarily because of how long it took to do. But if you were to assign that goal right before you found out, it'd be worth less.
I like to think that it's because of how long it took to do a little bit. It doesn't actually play, but it makes it feel special, right? Because you're like, I've been trying to do this forever.
Totally. Yeah, you get more experience for it usually. So what do you think?
Also like there's like the chance that one of my goals is not attainable. Like find out what the source of the smoke is, and you're like, sorry, it was a fucking mirage in your head. You're never gonna figure that out.
Here's the thing. Part of the why I want to do the goals at the end is because now I'm gonna plan the next session around trying to like look at giving you opportunities for your goals, right? Because if I don't know them until the beginning of the session, then I can't do that. So what's something that you as a player, what are you interested in, right? What's something that you want to do like with the orc tribe or with the monk or whatever?
Yeah, I want to negotiate either travel or mounts or something like that to get us back to a city.
Okay, cool. Negotiate with the orcs to help us get back to the city.
Yep.
Excellent. Yep. Okay. All right. Great. Good stuff, everybody.
Cool.
That's goals.
All right. Well, thanks everyone who came out today. We normally do not stream on Saturdays. This was a makeup for this past week, but we do stream every Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern. And even though we didn't stream every Saturday, we'll be back next Saturday as well with a live show. A live show. This is not recorded. This is live. But everyone you see right now on camera will actually be, like I said at the beginning of the show, about 70 feet that way. And we'll be doing a full-on production and all that stuff. So it should be a lot of fun. But we got one more show before that.
Oh, we are doing Tuesday then. Okay, good.
Yeah, there will be another show on Tuesday as well. So cool. Let's do some shout outs and we'll record that Patreon video. Zeke, why don't you start us off?
You betcha. What's up, everybody? Ezekiel the Third here. I want to give a big thank you to Dan and Max and JP and Adam for making this highlight of my week every week. And this week is so great because like in an 8-day period, I get to role play 3 times. It's great. I'm so excited. I'm so happy about that. Tomorrow I'm broadcasting at noon Pacific time and it's Indie Sunday. So we'll be playing some indie games all day tomorrow. I have one picked out, but I haven't picked out the other ones yet. I'm probably going to do that after we record the Patreon video. And if you want to come out and see some new indie titles, I usually pick some ones that are weird or gory or, you know, sexually charged and stuff like that, but not against TOS. Come out tomorrow, noon Pacific. And that's all I got. Thank you. Oh, follow me on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube, all Ezekiel_I.
Indeed. Are you close? What? Oh, wait, no, it's 1 million. Never mind. I was going to say, are you close to being verified yet? But they told you 1 million for that.
That was just the esoteric number they gave everybody. And I haven't actually applied in like 8 months.
Gotcha. That'll be a great, I think that day will be fun because you're going to lose your shit for some nonsensical check. Gassy, do a shout out for us.
GassyMexican on the YouTubes and here on Twitch, Variety Gamer. I won't be streaming tonight, probably most likely on Monday. Been playing The Hunt, all sorts of stuff. I'm kind of in a place I think a lot of people are at where I don't really know what to play because like I could do Monster Hunter, whatever, and who cares? I don't need to talk about that. Good show. Good show. I was actually really surprised how compelling it was for, you know, if you actually just looked at it like what we did, we were in the desert, right? But I thought there was some really cool stuff that happened there. And despite being, you know, lowered intelligence Berg, I was actually happy with how it was played and how it was, you know, some opportunities that were given me to be able to still, you know, kind of do stuff in the show and show a little bit of character of Berg dealing with stuff. So thanks as always to Adam, JP, Dan, and of course Zeke for doing this. And I'm excited for the live show and catch us Tuesday. It's gonna be great. And watch the post show where we talk about stuff. Do it. Yay. Okay, bye.
Dan, thanks for coming out the show. Even though you're feeling a little bit sick, hope you feel a little bit better ASAP, why don't you do some shout outs for us in the meantime?
All right. I'm DansGaming /DansGaming on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Easy to find. Variety streamer. Currently playing random stuff because I don't know what to play right now. I think we're doing Papers, Please again tomorrow, which is a fun game. This was a fun episode. I love the new structure of the show because, like, the previous structure, we'd have to have like 3 or 4 battles along the way for us to get any experience. But I'm glad like we can get experience without having to do that now. Makes our characters more vibrant, I feel. So I'm looking forward. I'm super excited for the live show on Saturday as well. It was a lot of fun last time. And thank you for having me. And I can't wait for next week.
Awesome stuff. Last but not least, Mr. Adam Coble.
It's me. If you spend any time on this channel, you know that I am a roleplay GM, and I run this show, and I run Nebula Jazz. We are currently twilighting Nebula Jazz, and we're going to be starting up a new sci-fi Stars Without Number show pretty soon, so definitely make sure you check that out. But more immediately, I will be back tomorrow to participate in the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons Roundtable, which is a thing we did a while back with some very cool people. I'm sure JP will tell you more about it later. If you want to, you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Adam Coble. On Twitter, I'm skinnyghost over there. And I hope you will wander over to community.itmeJP.com and check out the Q&A thread, which I will spam in the chat. There it is. So yeah, I've got obviously lots of prep to do this week. So if you want to throw my channel a follow, I do prep streams for Court of Swords. So if you're looking for like a sweet lore injection, you want to get spoiled about what's coming up, check those out. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Come back for the D&D thing.
That's true. I'll talk about that in the post show. Because if you're watching this on YouTube, it's probably already live on YouTube. You can just go watch it right now.
Yes.
That's it, though. We'll see you guys Tuesday, like we said, at our normal time at 6 o'clock Eastern. We're out. Dan already left. We'll see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.